I was drinking with a few coworkers of mine last week and decided I had a few too many and would Uber my way home. An Asian guy around 35 or 40 years old picks me up in a nice car. The conversation started off normal until he starts talking about a girl he also knows named Jess. She was always hanging on me and trying to kiss on me and whatnot, but I thought she was too pretty, so I would not date her. He went on about Jess from New Mexico and how she looked like an angel and how he thought she was too pretty to date. For about half the ride, but then he goes on about how he's seen a lot of strange things as an Uber driver. How a woman once got into his car and began to strip completely naked and began throwing her clothes out the window. He playfully jabbed that he hopes that doesn't happen this time, with a creepy perv smile. He then told me I was very gorgeous and how I too looked like an angel. It was very uncomfortable, but it had finally come to an end when we pulled into my driveway. He says, 5 stars for you, as I opened my door and stepped out. But then I heard his car door open too. He got out of the car. I was pretty drunk, but he was small and I wasn't too worried. I walked to my front door, keeping an eye on the weirdo, who kind of just stood at his door as I walked into my house. Nothing else came of this, so it was a bit of an anticlimactic ending, but it was a creepy encounter for me to say the least. I just took an Uber home from a bar in my town. The ride was fine. The driver was a little more talkative than usual. He kept commenting on how pretty I was and how he loved American girls. We were down the block from my house, but he decided to pull over and ask me if I wanted to talk more to him. I said no, it's late, and that I really needed to get home so I can get some rest. He proceeded to recline his seat, jumped in the back seat with me, and try and talk with me some more. "Oh, you're scared of me," he says. "No shit, a young girl was just murdered by a man claiming to be her Uber, and here you are in the backseat with me, scaring the shit out of me." I tried to leave the vehicle, but the doors were locked. Thankfully, I was able to unlock my door and run home. My problem is, I am scared because this man now has my address. He knows where I live and what I look like. I ran away from his car down the block from my house, but he drove past my house slowly several minutes later. I am genuinely scared of my well-being and do not know what course of action I should take. So, a few years ago, I worked at a grocery store as the manager for the online shopping department. I didn't have a car at the time, and so I would take Uber to work. The night before this incident, I was at the local brewery with my friends. I took an Uber home then, but thought the driver was kind of off because of how inquisitive he was. But I played it off as him just making small talk. The next morning, I requested an Uber and it was the same guy. No big deal. It happens all the time here because I live in a small town. So I got in the car and this guy remembered everything about me. But again, I played it off because I literally saw him like 12 hours before that. I was definitely getting creeped out though. So we started chatting again and he was telling me about how him and his wife were having problems. I thought it was weird as hell, but figured that maybe he just wanted to talk about it because that's just my personality. Then he started talking about how they used to ride 4-wheelers together and stuff and how he misses it. And I stupidly said, "I've always wanted to ride one. Are they fun?" And he said, "They're great. You should definitely ride sometime. I have a few." I got sketched out and I was like, "Oh cool. I should see if my boyfriend would be down to ride sometime then." Finally, we got to my work. He gave me an awkwardly long goodbye speech and thanked me for using Uber. About an hour later, my coworker and I heard knocking on the door that leads to the pickup space, and it was the Uber driver. I awkwardly opened the door, and the driver asked me to exchange numbers with him because he wanted to take me for a ride. Luckily, Steve was like, "Dude, I'm her boyfriend. What the hell, man?" And we closed the door. Steve was an absolute champ. He didn't leave. We had to page my boss, and then he called the cops because he wouldn't leave. He ran off when the cops showed up. It was super creepy. I contacted Uber, got a refund, and also got a pretty strong confirmation that he no longer works for the company.